Hey everyone, I'm Colin Weston, host of the Mod Golf Podcast. Welcome to my conversation with Mike Yagley, who is the VP of Innovation and Artificial Intelligence for COBRA PUMA Golf. Mike and I jumped on a long-form audio podcast, which we just released, and hey, we'd love you to listen to that. But we're going to ask some different questions, have a bit of a different conversation here today. And he's also got a couple of props here, not to be a spoiler, that he's going to show off. And the reason I connected to Mike, being a bit of a design geek that I am, and love the whole 3D modeling world, they created the Super Sport 35, the first 3D printed putter, and I'm just loving this. So hey, I'm just gonna open things up and go, hey Mike, welcome back, good to see you on the Mod Golf Podcast again. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, Colin. It's really great to be with you today, and excited to talk to you about this new tech that we have launched and it's gone, by the way. It's just gone. It was limited edition and it lasted about 36 hours. But it's a phenomenal putter.
That's why I'm shaking my head, is because I know. And unfortunately, I can't even, unless I want to go onto eBay or Amazon and buy one for 3 times the price there. You can't even get one for me to test for a Mod Golf Podcast product review. So we'll have to review some of the other, maybe your Rad Speed technology or some other stuff. But we can talk about that later, because we'd love to test some of your Cobra products there, obviously. So hey, let's drill down into what you're doing with the putter here. So let's start. Why don't you show it off there? Because you've got one of those bad boys in your hand that you just unwrapped. So tell us what you have there, first of all.
So we'll start with the face, because that's a really popular view, right? So you've got SICK technology on there, descending loft technology, which means it goes from a 4-degree loft down to a 1-degree loft in progressive increments, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Yep.
Now, that's the putter face as you're looking at it. A very classic blade style as you're looking at it. Okay. But what you don't see at address is that lattice. And that is the kicker on this one. So I'd say almost 10 years ago now, started thinking about printing metal parts and dreamt of the day we could put one into production and actually sell it, because this technology allows us as designers and engineers and club fabricators and golfers to do things that you just can't do through regular casting or forging or machining. You see that lattice in there.
Yep.
The only way you're going to manufacture that is through 3D or 3-dimensional printing. And we really thought that technology was many years out. As it turns out, it was only a few years out. And we were able to work with HP and Parmatech and innovate, design, develop, produce, and sell a metal 3D printed putter. And as you said, it is the Super Sport 35 from COBRA Golf. It's a phenomenal piece of engineering.
What I just love about this, we talked about so many different things on the podcast. We don't want to, like I said, duplicate too much here, but I just wanted to focus on this one piece that you touched on there with the lattice work. And you gave a masterclass and an education for me and for our listeners on casting and forging and the processes and machining there that you've talked about. You're able to do things design-wise and creativity-wise and and because the kind of the technique of manufacturing that you just physically can't do with casting or forging. This kind of the intricate pieces there to create that. So tell us a little bit about that let's start off with this. What is metal jet printing in HP, and how did this technology come about, and how did you harness this to realize that hey, maybe we can print a club head with this?
Well, I can tell what I believe is the HP story. HP has been world-renowned for printers for years, and they got into printing polymer products with their jet printers. And that's a natural progression of going from an ink jet printer to a polymer jet printer by dropping small particles of polymers and basically building an object up. Instead of just printing on a piece of paper, you're doing it over and over and over again. So you're building up a 3-dimensional object. Well, HP looked at that and said, if we put a powder bed down and drop a polymer on top of that powder bed and and it's a metal powder bed. I forgot to add one really important part, metal powder bed, and put the polymer down on top of it and keep building the layers up until you have a solid object, we could print metal. Now, when you finish printing that part, you have to remove the loose powder, and you're left with an object that is, it looks a lot like this, but it's, let's say, about 20% bigger. And you put that object, it's called the green part, and it's kind of the consistency and the structure of, say, like a crayon type material. So it's like a relatively stiff polymer, but not totally robust. It's not sturdy yet. You put that into an oven and do a process what's called sintering, and you're melting out the polymer. Then you raise it up to a super high temperature and actually melting the metal together. And then it shrinks down because the polymer's removed, and you're left with a metal part. And to me, it's an engineering miracle that you can get something that goes from, like I said, the consistency of about a crayon and melt everything out and get a finished metal part out of it. And when I say finished, it's as sintered. So you're still going to do things to it. You're going to polish it. You might chrome it. You might paint it. But it retains its detail. So all of the little details you see in this part, that lattice, this structure on the top, minus the machining, because we did do some machining on it and we do some plating on it. But it retains those details. And what you're left with then is a part that you can put structures on the inside. And like I said earlier, you can't do that with conventional casting, forging, or machining. You just can't do it if it's part of the integral material. So 3D printing allows you to make structures that are just impossible to make any other way.
Wow, love it. Well, so we talked about on the podcast, the backstory, and of course, the commercialization of this with your innovation team, which is say you rarely do. It's like, yeah, we decided to commercialize something, and we committed to that with your team. So let's talk a little more about the future now that you've had this win, and I'm sure the learnings not only with yourself but also with working with Sick Golf and also with HP, even more importantly there. Future partnerships, I'm sure there's lots that you're planning. I don't know how much you can tell us right now, but from what I can understand let's look at drivers and driver head technology. You are capped at 460 cc's, and all your competitors and also yourself with RadSpeed, you're looking at ways to move around the moment of inertial and all the other elements that you're looking to generate, faster club head speed and gear effect and all those other things that I'm starting to understand. But it seems to me, Mike, that's super exciting because now that you're able to, you're liberated to do all these other design possibilities, almost infinite combinations with metal jet printing, that it seems to me that driver technology should take a great leap forward over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, if that's somewhere we want to go. So perhaps you can comment on that a little bit.
I can comment. I can't give you the literal peek underneath the hood. Okay. And I would expand what you said. I would say not only with drivers, but fairways, hybrids, irons, additional putters. Again, it could be the entire structure. It could be portions of the structure that allow you to make pieces that you just couldn't make conventionally. Like, let's just pick on drivers, casting titanium. There are, again, limitations because you can't have web-like structures in a casting because there's no way to remove the core material when you're actually making the pattern that you use to make the casting material. You just can't get it out. So it might be subcomponents on the interior or on the exterior. With irons, we could see structures, again, that you could make that you couldn't make conventionally. But it could be the entire head or it could be subcomponents. Like I said, I can't give you the literal peek underneath the hood, but I can tell you we're really excited about the possibilities of what this technology allows us to do from an engineering standpoint, but honestly, more importantly, from a golfer standpoint. There will be things coming from us that will make you go, wow, that's very different. That's very unique, and it's high performance.
Well, when all that stuff comes out, it's like we'll probably have to do a Cobra Puma podcast episode every single week then, if you've got all this stuff coming out over the next next couple of years. So maybe that's a little bit too fast. Maybe that's not a bit of an exaggeration, but it sounds like you've got all these things that you can't tell us yet. I know you're not just being coy. I know you've got to kind of keep that under your hat for the next little while. But it seems to me, not being an engineer myself, being an architect rather than an engineer, and not being a physicist, I'm sure you played around with years of saying, or talking to someone like Bryson, the insights you get from him is saying, wouldn't it be great if we could do this, this, and this? And you may push back and go, well, no, we have limitations in the manufacturing and machining process right now that we can't do that. So does Stephen tell us that? Are a lot of those cannots turning into maybe they're cans? We can do that in the future rather than wish we could, but we can't? Or are you going to be liberated in what you can try as far as performance and enhancements in that area, in optimization?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, it's going to be completely, utterly liberating, but it is going to liberate. And one of the questions that you could throw into what you just asked would be like the what if we did this? Okay. And the cool thing is I work with the innovation team and a bunch of brilliant dudes that really understand club performance, how to design, how to engineer. And we do a lot of blue sky stuff. We get to do things that we're like, what if? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But as Master Yoda said, failure is often the best teacher. And it's true. I mean, the more you try things and the more you fail, the more you're going to learn.
Absolutely.
And we're just going to try things.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we also you talked quite a bit about not only the kind of the left side of the brain, the kind of the rational side of performance with your equipment, but also it boils down to feel, not only aesthetics, but how does it feel? How does it feel in your hand? How does it make you emotionally feel? So let me ask you this with the Super Sport 35. Have you played any rounds and had it in your bag? And how has it performed out there? Or other people that you know or you work with that have gone out there? How has it performed? Do you enjoy having it in the bag and perform and make putts rather than think of it just as some kind of a novelty thing, which I know it's much more than that?
So the answer is yes. I have it in the bag. And I have noticed a marked improvement in my rolling of the golf ball, confidence on getting it rolling and getting it online and making putts. I've been using the Arccos caddy system, Cobra Connect version, because we're putting the sensors right in the grips. And I've got one in my Super Sport 35. And I saw an improvement in my strokes gained I've played it probably about 6 or 7 rounds now. And you know what it's like when you're putting. If you have confidence, you can see the line, you just make more putts. And it's rolling really, really well. I actually have another version of it that is an arm lock version also, a prototype arm lock version, which is an interesting critter, following after Mr. DeChambeau's putting style. And I've been toying with both of them. So yeah, I'm sold on the technology. The funny thing is there's a bunch of guys in the company that are using it that haven't used that style of putter before, but they rolled it, they loved it, and it stayed in the bag.
Well, maybe I can use some help because yesterday, 38 putts with 4 3-putts and 2 3-putts from 15 feet. Not good.
We might be able to help you out.
I know. I was getting down to like 31, 32 putts, and yesterday just no confidence, no feel, and yeah, I certainly need some new technology in the bag there. The putter I'm using, I won't name what it is, but it's been in there a while, and it's time to go. I think it's time to go.
Got it. I'll look around here and see if we can find one for you. Okay.
All right.
There might be 1 or 2 laying around here.
All right, but I would love to, like we talked about before, I would love to, on the Mod Golf YouTube channel with our product reviews, love to swing a couple of your clubs and give an honest review from a 14 handicapper, from the average golfer, and I'm certainly fall in that category. So would love to, if that's something you're interested in, we can certainly have a chat and follow up on that, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
And we are, because I can tell you that you are the definitive consumer for us. Because like you said, the average golfer, 14, that's it. You've nailed it. And we make products for tour players, of course, and we make products for, I would say the less accomplished player, but the meat of our product line is pointed right at you and guys and gals, in that let's say 5 to 20 handicap range, 14 somewhere in there, right? About the average. Those are the products we make, and we
Nice.
make really good ones.
Nice. Well, I've had, even the irons won't name who they're from, but one of your, I mean, you can probably look out the window and probably know who it, probably can see them from a distance, but one of the two. But I've had those in the bag for the last 12 years now. So even with my swing, the fact that it's improved, and I think I know full well that the clubs that I have, even though they were fitted at that time, they're not serving me well either. So let's have a chat about that and see where that goes. So, hey, I do want to finish up here. I don't want to take up any more of your time, because you did spend, a great deal of time providing all those insights on the podcast, which I do recommend and encourage all of our viewers here to become listeners. I'll include a link down below for that episode, my conversation with Mike. But just to finish up here, Mike, how can people find out more about all the great things that you are doing? Take a look more at the putter, perhaps even see your relationships with what you're doing with Arccos and the collaboration you're doing there, and learn more about Cobra Puma Golf. Where can they go?
Well, one of the best places to go is www.cobragolf.com. And honestly, you will find it all there. Even though the putter is sold out, there's a great page on the putter. There's an entire section on the website devoted to Cobra Connect. And then, of course, the website has a ton of information on all of our products. The pages themselves are deep, from here's the tech all the way to the spec and everything in between the specs. So I encourage people to go there. We also have you can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. We're constantly pumping out information. So you can follow us about the products. You can follow Bryson. You can follow Ricky, Lexi, all of our best players, Jason Duffner. So there's plenty of information about us out there on that World Wide Web.
Love it. And I've spoken to quite a few equipment manufacturers over the years, and I will say this quite honestly, that what you are doing with your innovation team, you guys are the real deal. I can tell just the culture of innovation and experimentation just kind of oozes throughout the walls at that place there. So hopefully once this COVID thing is over, because I'm up here in Vancouver in Canada, next time I'm down in your neck of the woods, I'd love to hang out and have a chat and see some of your equipment in firsthand. I would love that. That would be awesome.
2 things I'd promise you. 1, bring you in the building and let you meet the whole team, between Cameron and Bryce and Mike and Clayton and Ryan Roach and Chad DeHart. We probably have the best innovation team on the planet by far. And then we'll take you out and get you fit with Brandon Dickinson. And I guarantee you, this is a guarantee, he will find things in your game with our clubs that you've never seen before. Good things. And I'll give you more of a peek under the hood. Okay.
Love it. Well,
yeah.
I'll bring my camera and my microphone down, because it sounds like there's an episode or two right there just begging to be made. So good stuff.
Yes.
So hey, why don't we finish up there? So Mike, amazing again to see you. And as I said, hopefully we get to see each other in person real soon, because I just love the connection. You do all the things that I love, and a lot of things that I wish I had the opportunity to do, to play in the sandbox that I know you get out of bed every day. You've told me you just love your job like nothing else. And I can just tell, I can just see the passion there. So it's awesome.
I'm a very fortunate person, and I really, really love what I do. Thanks, Colin. It was really great talking to you.
Likewise. All right, Mike, you take care. We'll talk soon.
See you, bud.